Hello, my amazing artists. Now, we have a quick change of plans for this week. This week, because we don't have any school on Thursday and Friday, I decided that we were not going to continue our art projects this week, okay? So this is a little bit of a change, but I just want to let you friends know that next week we will finish up our art projects, and that goes for all of my students, no matter what grade you're in, okay? So this week, instead of talking about finishing our art projects, I know I've had a lot of questions from students and parents about what's going to happen come second quarter. Now, many of you asked me these questions for two reasons. Either one, because you noticed that your art folder is empty and are worried about maybe having to buy more materials, or two, you've heard about the fact that school is going to be reopening and want to know what's going to happen when it comes to art. So, for any friends out there or parents as well, I'd like to give you the answers to these questions, okay? First of all, to answer about art materials and what we're going to be doing for second quarter art, I want to let all my families know that we are going to have another student materials pickup on the week of November 4th and 5th. Those 2 dates, there's going to be another student pickup. And in that pickup, my friends, are going to be some new art folders. I have kindergarten, first grade, second, multi-age folders already ready to go for all of my students. So parents, you do not have to worry about buying more paper or paints and paintbrushes for your students, because I'm also going to be sending home paint kits for kindergarten. First grade's going to get some glue, Q-tips, paintbrushes, and some white paint. I haven't quite finished that one yet. And second grade as well will get paint kits sent home. That way, again, parents, you do not have to buy the resources for art classes, okay? So that will be in your materials pickup bag. The other thing that I want to answer is about reopening. Now, currently, our plan, no matter what pathway you go, whether you decide to come in person or stay in our virtual classes, art will still continue to be virtual. And here's what it's going to look like for students. Again, if you just decide to stay all virtual, art classes will stay in the afternoon, and you will come to the live art classes or watch the pre-recorded videos to complete your art assignments in Seesaw, or again, you can post them into Artsonia, okay? If you do choose to be in person, again, my friends, remember, in-person students will only come for 2 days. So the first half of the alphabet, those friends will come on Monday and Tuesday, and the second half of the alphabet will come Thursday and Friday, right? On those opposite days, when students technically have off and are doing at-home learning, that's when art and music will take place, okay? And that's why I'm sending all of these materials home again, because they are not going to come to school. All of our art learning will continue to happen either at home or in your daycares or wherever your virtual learning space happens, my friends, okay? So, with that being said as well, my friends, I'm providing everybody with a quick plan about what art will look like for second quarter. If you notice on the front of the art folders here, they say art second quarter on the actual folder. But there's also a white piece of paper, and this piece of paper is for parents to plan, okay? So my parents out there watching this white piece of paper that will be on the front of everyone's folders is going to tell you important information. It's going to tell you, one, the week of art class. I have 10 weeks here planned what project we're going to do, what art materials students might need, such as crayons or scissors, glue, or markers, and then what you need to turn in for that week, either on Seesaw or Artsonia. So I went ahead, I laid that all out for the next 10 weeks. That way you families can plan around that a little bit easier, because I know that this is still going to be staying at home. And if that is a little bit overwhelming to look at, I understand. I just added then a short paragraph of what all my students are going to need for these next 10 weeks, okay? So those things will include our art folders, which I'm providing, pencils, erasers, scissors, glue. You can choose either glue bottle or glue stick. There's going to be, you're going to need to have a black marker or a Sharpie, 24 set of crayons. That means all the different colors, including white. That's really important. 8 count of markers, and then also for the provided paints and paintbrushes, which I am giving to you, okay? If students would like to have also colored pencils and watercolor paints, they can, but that is not a requirement, okay? Please do not feel like you have to buy colored pencils or watercolor paint sets, okay? Those are always an option, only if you have those at home, all right? So I hope that's going to be enough information to help you better plan with everything going on. I know there's a lot changing, but again, art is going to stay the same. So with that being said, my friends, there is one thing that I want to talk to my students about that's extra special. Like I said, one of the things that I am sending home during our material pickups, again, that's November 4th and 5th, that will happen, is your own pet paintbrush. Here is my pet paintbrush, my friends. And as you can see, I even added a little smiling face on him. And the reason I call it your pet, my friends, is because normally during art, in the art classroom, I would always be the person taking care of your paintbrushes, right? I'd have them go to sleep at night in the drawers. I'd wash them when they get dirty. And I would always make sure that they are ready to paint with you, friends. But now, artists, because we're going to be continuing at home and I'm giving you your very own paintbrush, you are the person that is going to need to take care of your pet. Now, what taking care is going to look like is the first part, is the fun part. You get to name your pet paintbrush, my friends. That's actually your homework assignment this week. All you have to submit to Miss Graded is what your paintbrush's name will be. That way, when your paintbrush arrives, you can grade it and say, hey, paintbrush, and then its name. For example, my paintbrush's name is Pete. He's Pete the paintbrush. Now, again, as your pet, you're going to need to take care of your paintbrush. You're going to need to make sure that you know where your paintbrush is, so that way he's ready to go or she is ready to go when you're ready to paint. And the most important part, my friends, you're going to need to know how to wash your paintbrush whenever it gets dirty with paint. And that is what I'd like to show my artists today, so that way you can start thinking about when you get your paintbrush, how best to take care of it, okay? So parents, thank you. If you listened to this point, you don't have to listen anymore. The next couple minutes are going to be for my students so they can learn how to best take care of their new pet paintbrush. I'm going to go to my sink now, my friends. I'm going to bring you with me so we can watch how to wash up my paintbrush, Pete the paintbrush. Here we go. Here I am at one of my sinks right now. I have my paintbrush. Remember, his name is Pete. Pete the paintbrush. You can choose to name your paintbrush whatever you want, and I even added with a Sharpie a little face on mine. You don't have to do that. I just wanted to make my paintbrush kind of fun. So we're going to pretend right now that Pete and we just got done painting. So we were painting in our black paint, and maybe, oh gosh, he got really messy because he rolled around in it a little bit. My hands got super messy as well. Uh-oh. Well, Pete and I definitely need a wash up. So the first thing I'm going to do, my artist, before I even go to my sink, I have my paper towel and my water ready. Remember, you always want to have those things with you when you are painting. Why? Well, in case you got a big mess, I don't want to get my sink all messy first. So I'm going to go to my water, and I'm going to rinse out Pete's hair the best that I can. And I'm going to dry him up, and then I'm going to grab my paper towel, and I'm going to put him down, and I'm going to roll him up, and I'm going to wipe up my hands as well. That way I can get as much of it off my hands and off of Pete first, so that way I am ready to go to my sink. So remember, we always want to have a paper towel and a small water cup. Mine's just a little yogurt cup from my lunch a couple days ago that I saved and washed out. All right. And that way I can just wipe up my hands real quickly. They're a lot better now. And so is Pete. He's ready to get washed out completely, though. So I'm going to throw my paper towel away in the garbage, and I'm going to go over to my sink now that my hands are a little bit cleaner, and I'm ready to really wash Pete up well. So the first thing I'm going to do is start up a little bit of water. I like to use a little bit of hot water on Pete, just because that will make him feel better. If he gets too cold, ooh, he might get a little chilly. Don't want him to get sick, right? So I'll rinse him off just a little bit first, and my hands as well I might rinse off. And then I'm going to grab some soap as well, my friends. So I'm going to pump my soap just a little bit. And now I'm going to take Pete, and I'm going to swirl his hair around. So I put that soap on my hand, and I'm swirling his hair. You see, woo, he's having a great time with that. That tickles a little bit, but he likes it. And I'm going to use my fingers to gently rub in his hair, just like how you might rub in your own hair while you're shampooing, my friends. And I'm also going to rub down the handle, too, to make sure there's no germs and no paint left on him. All right, he's going to get a rinse now. Rinse out his hair. Make sure that feels good. It's all clean. Wipe down the metal part and the handle. All right. And I'm looking at his hair again. I still see a little bit of paint, so I'm trying to get it out with my fingers nice and gently, though. I don't want to hurt his hair, right? Let's take a look. Pete, oh, he looks so much cleaner, and he's way happier now that he's had his bath. So I'm going to actually just set him aside, my friends. The best way to dry out a paintbrush is to just set it flat and let him dry. That way he's ready to go next time. If you need to put him away somewhere and you need to dry him up, you can use a paper towel, but again, be really gentle with his hair. Now, all I need to do is wash up as well. So I'm going to grab a little bit more soap for my own hands, and I'm going to scrub my hands up, try to get as much of that paint off, making sure I'm scrubbing for at least 20 seconds, right? And then once I'm done scrubbing, I will go ahead and rinse off my hands too. That way I'm all cleaned up, just like Pete the paintbrush is. And that, my artists, is how you take care of your pet paintbrush. So If anybody has any questions for Miss Greathead on the best way to take care of their paintbrush, please feel free to let me know, of course. Remember, your only homework assignment this week, my friends, is to think about what name you will name your paintbrush. Again, my friend is Pete the Paintbrush, but I want to hear some cool, creative names that you friends are going to come up with for your paintbrush as well. All right, artists. For this week, Pete and I are going to say goodbye, and as always, have fun creating.